Hi! Today we're going to do the second card from my card class, which is this one. I think it turned out really well, and I actually really like how I did it with Basic Beige. I don't use that color an awful lot. So here's what you would have gotten in your packet for my class. The instruction sheet, an envelope, and then what you don't have to stamp or die cut. So I'm going to start with that. Okay, so this is going to go on something that we're embossing, but I'm going to start here because I want to ink the edges. Sometimes with the pattern paper, especially if it's a solid color like this, sometimes it gets a little frayed on the bottom edge, so I'll ink the edges so it doesn't show. Plus sometimes I just don't want to see the white edge. So I'm just doing a little inking, and my sponge is a 1/6 or an 1/8 of a round circle sponge. We used to sell these years ago, and you can probably get one at your local craft store. And then I have a punch and a label for the top. So I'm just going around the edge. I don't want a huge amount of ink, but just a little bit. So there you can see that. Close my ink pad. Old style. Still works. Okay, put those to the side. And then I'm going to use liquid glue to attach this. Okay. Oh, you know, I think in my last video I said that I was using a Sheetload of sketches, the Sheetload of Cards sketch for my card, but I think it's actually this one. So this one is the Sheetload of Cards sketch. So this piece here is 3 5/8 so that you can have a little border, and it lines up flush with the layer behind it. And anytime that things line up flush or there's just a little border, I like to use liquid glue. So there's that. And now I'm going to emboss the back piece with the exposed brick 3D folder. You'll probably want to make sure you do it sideways. I think it would look better. Okay, we don't need those pieces. We need the specialty plate because it's a 3D. And I am going to line it up with the line on there so that I can get it straight. If that bothers you, that's what you use. Then we'll emboss that. It's a 4 by 5 1/4 inch piece of Basic Beige. And I don't need that anymore. So this will go on that piece. And then we're going to do some die cutting. I'm going to start with this. I barely even use this. I forgot I had it. The earthen toned specialty paper. It is just so pretty. It's like a brownie copper. So I've got a die cut from the Greenery Lane die cuts. I'm going to run that through. Get all my pieces for assembly. Okay. Pick that up. Oh, and I can show you a tip. get a lint roller. It is great for picking up these pieces. Okay, now, where did my vellum go? Oops. I've got vellum, and I have one of the arches from the Everyday Arches, and I'm going to cut that out just to make sure the flat edge doesn't go through straight. Probably should have stamped before I started the die cutting, because I'm going to have to move it out of the way so I can stamp and then bring it back. Oops. Sometimes that's just how my brain works. Okay, we'll move it over there. And then I've got a, what is this, 1 by 3.5 inch piece of Basic Beige for my sentiment. And I've got the Happy Birthday from the Beautiful Butterflies. I'm going to miss that one. This Happy Birthday fits beautifully in the Stylish Shapes long thin banner. And Blackberry Bliss. Love this color. Okay, so now I'm going to line that up, tape it, bring my die cutter back, and run that through. Set that off to the side again. Remember to pull the tape back on itself so you don't rip. Oops. And there's my sentiment. Now we just have assembly. Again, I'm going to use liquid glue because it's embossed. I just like with liquid glue for that. And I am going to put this panel on first because if it is too wide, if I cut it too wide, I can trim the edges. Looks like it's pretty good. Look on the back, that looks pretty good. And then I'm gonna use liquid glue again. Put some glue on the back here. And then put that on my card base. And now, here's the trick with the vellum. I am going to put little dabs of liquid glue on the back of the leaves, trying not to have too big a dab because I don't want the liquid glue to show. Okay, so then I'm going to put that on my vellum here, and I'm going to stick a block on it. While I'm doing that, I'll get some dimensionals on the back of here. Let's see, because you can also use glue dots. I think they're small enough. I was thinking of doing that for the video, because I could do that with the on the vellum side. I did not put anything on there. Maybe I'll put glue dot there. Oopsie. Okay. Here's the way you can do it if the glue dot is too big. So what you do is you take your pokey tool and then you roll the glue dot over and pick it up with your pokey tool. And then stick it on the back of your leaf. I wiggle it to get it out. And then stick that down because I didn't remember to put adhesive on the back of that one. So I think I'm going to do glue dots on here. And I may or may not. Yeah, I'm gonna roll them in half probably. There we go. Stick one there. This will make it bump up a little bit, but that shouldn't be a problem. Just gives it a little more dimension. Stick one there, wiggle to get it out. Let's put a few more on. I don't want it going anywhere. Use my finger and wiggle. Because with vellum, it's going to show through if you don't hide it behind something. That is a trick with vellum, that you do need to make sure you hide your adhesive. And I'm going to do one more, I think. We will stick it right there. Wiggle. Okay. Then put it over here. And then I can just push it down because I use the glue dots. If you use liquid glue, I can stick a block on it and let it dry for a minute. Then I've got my happy birthday banner, which I'm centering on here, maybe a little lower. About right there. Okay. And then I'm going to use the streak dots. These are last chance. I was intending to make this card with the plaid paper that we have on last chance, but I didn't have enough of the patterns that I preferred to do it for the class. So we got the Floral Charm paper, which is just so pretty. Gonna do 3. Whoops. Oh, I think I lost my adhesive on that one. Yep, there it is right there. Okay, put it back on, push down. There we go. And then, since it's not white, I tend to put a white panel on the inside. You could use extra paper on this or stamp. I don't tend to do anything with the inside until I'm going to send it to somebody. I'm not huge on decorating the inside. It's just not something I always think of. After I've done the front, I'm usually done. But there you go. Thanks for watching.